Hi, welcome back to the Scent Advocate. Tonight we're talking about fragrance twins. That's right, fragrances that are a little too similar to one another to necessitate having both in your collection, unless that's something you want to do, in which case you do you. So some of these pairs have come to me from questions by some of you, and others have kind of been out in the mainstream as potential fragrance twins for a while. So I'll cover several pair tonight. Some of them might be more familiar than others, but stick around till the end because I don't know, you may get a surprise here and there. So what is tonight's beverage? It is a dry Riesling from the winery here in New York on Cayuga Lake called Dr. Constantine Frank, right? Their dry Riesling is amazing. Semi-dry is a little sweeter, but this one hits the spot. Very similar to an Alsatian Riesling if you're into that sort of thing. Absolutely beautiful. I love it. Juicy, tart, mouthwatering, fantastic. Let's jump right in. The first pair I'm looking at, we'll start with Femme Rochas and Papillon Salome. There are a lot of similarities and a lot of differences. For those of you who regularly tune into the channel, you know that I am opposed for myself, from my collection, to having fragrances in the collection that are identical or real close. There needs to be a difference. Otherwise, I worry that I'll wear one more than the other, and it just isn't a good spend because, let's face it, although this is an amazing price, this one is still not bad. Some of these can get pretty expensive. So not that price was necessarily the driver for me. Who wants to spend more money than they have to? It doesn't make sense to have two fragrances that are identical or virtually identical in my collection. So that's how I see it. Let me tell you about these two to start. So let's start with Femme Rochas. This is an EDT. It's 100 ml. It is a 1944 release. This goes all the way back, and I paid a whopping $30 for it. And what a fragrance, my goodness. It is incredible. So the notes in this are plum, peach, cinnamon. There's a ton. So let me just pick out the ones that, you know, there's some bergamot, cloves, ylang ylang, iris, oak moss, leather, benzoin, patchouli, musk, vanilla. This fragrance is, you know, it's very sexy. It's very personal, intimate. I'm just grabbing some scent strips here. I forgot to grab them before I started. It's carnal, you know, you wear this and it sends an unmistakable message. There is no doubt where you're going with this one. Nothing subtle whatsoever. It is at the same time a guilty pleasure for me. I just cannot get enough of this. I wear this because I just, it's so satisfying. It's like a guilty pleasure. That is Femme Rochas, and a little goes a long way. It is an EDT, but damn, it is an EDT, right? Yeah, it's an EDT, but it packs a punch. So be careful with this one. This, you know, if you're going to a formal dinner party, maybe not. If you're spending a night at home with someone special, most definitely Femme Rochas. Now, then we have Salome. So Salome is a 2015 release. It's an EDP from the House of Papillon. This is, I think this is about, for some reason I didn't write it down, I think it's about 30 ml. And I think I paid something in the neighborhood of $200 for it approximately. The notes in this are orange, bergamot, hyrax, jasmine, carnation. Keep your eyes open for carnation. And hey, let me know in the comments if you want to hear more about carnation fragrances. I'm having a carnation moment personally. And if you want to contribute to the formulation of a video dedicated to carnation, let me know what your favorites are in the comments, okay? So side note for carnation. Orange blossom, rose, tobacco, castoreum, birch, patchouli, styrax, oak moss, of course. This is dirty. This is straight up private. Wow. If you've not smelled this and you're into niche and indie, do yourself a favor and smell it. It takes this to a whole other level, which is why I don't think they are fragrance twins. Are they similar? Yes. Maybe in the same fragrance neighborhood? Yes. This is more tame. This is more socially acceptable. This is a person who's keeping a secret, make it, I don't know, a little more attention. This is someone who maybe you'd like to get to know better. This one's been around the block a few hundred times. Oh yeah, that's Salome. In the most interesting of ways. This is a skilled individual who's, you know, need I say more? I think one is more socially acceptable than the other on me. Now, I know a lot of people who prefer masculine leaning fragrances love this. They just want to roll around in it, and for lots of reasons, that makes perfect sense to me. For me, I wear this with caution. It just projects from me something about this, and my skin chemistry just gives out a vibe, and I wear it at home in the privacy of my home. And that is that. Not fragrance twins. Did they live in the same neighborhood? Yes. There you go. Moving on. All right. Next. Ooh, let's do these two. I think you're going to like them. So these are Mitsouko by Guerlain, a classic. And this is a 1919 release. This goes for about $160. This is a modern formulation. I don't know that there are separate formulations. It is my perception that this smells different from a vintage version or vintage release that I sampled. It's close. I get it, but there's a difference. But among fragrances that may have been reformulated, this is not bad. Okay, this is an EDP. I hear that, you know, it matters what concentration you buy with this fragrance, and this is a 75 ml. The notes in this are bergamot, rose, peach, ylang ylang, jasmine, lilac, oak moss, spices, cinnamon, vetiver, and amber. And it's got this whole romantic story behind it. You should check it out. It's based on this literary character. By the way, the nose behind this is Jacques Guerlain. The book that you may want to check out is The Battle by Claude Ferrer. Very, very interesting fragrance. It's got a formal yet feminine, but 150 years ago feel to it. There's a strength in the citrus. The citrus is just like right in your face when you start out. The peach softens it up. The spices are they marry well with the citruses. And I've talked about this in other videos where the spices, you can imagine like clove, piercing an orange that you make a holiday drink with. For me it's glühwein, but for you maybe it's wassail. And it's got an earthiness from the oak moss that gives it a wearable feel, so you don't feel like it's a gourmand. It's got a bit of seriousness to it, and a formality, a crispness. I imagine this woman from Japan, like the character in the book, wearing a stiff kimono and, very proper, very well put together, very stationed in her life. This fits the idea behind that. And what is the alleged fragrance twin? Well, of course it is a Roja's Diaghilev. Now, this fragrance is a deep, deep love of mine. I've said it in other videos. This was something my husband and I chose together for me because it is so expensive. I spent about $1,000 on this fragrance, which you may think is crazy, and you're right. I have no excuse for myself. So this is an animalic type sheep. This is, what is it? It's a parfum, which helps, right? Because it's a stronger formulation. It's 100 ml. And I don't know when this came out, but I suspect it's been at least 20, 30 years. Let me know in the comments. I should probably write that in my notes. So in this, we've got cumin, bergamot, tarragon, orange, peach, ylang ylang, rose, heliotrope, violet, tuberose, oak moss, civet, leather, ambrat. Okay. Same neighborhood? Yes. Again, different enough, absolutely, to have in my collection. This is, oh gosh, where do I wear this? I wear this casually around, which is completely inconsistent with what I just said about it having this structure and it's formal and it's, poised and there's a station. But I just like it. And it gives me a clean, airy feel despite all of that. And yet there's an intimacy that comes out from that beautiful oak moss and something else. This screams feminine from an intimate place. This is even more, but in a different way. There's almost something, a hint at a gourmand in this. I know you're going to say I'm crazy because of the cumin, but the cumin is really muted for me. This is almost holiday-esque compared to Mitsouko. And I encourage you to do this. If you have these fragrances or samples of them available, do a side-by-side, absolutely. And you really get the difference when you do that. And you could see how, I've read stories, I've heard stories about Diaghilev being inspired by Mitsouko, and I don't know if that's true. What I can tell you is, same neighborhood, yes. Fragrance twins, no. This is happy. Diaghilev is happier, brighter. Mitsouko is more formal, more rigid, more contemplative, maybe a little bit dark. Yeah. And Diaghilev, oh my God, I love it. I will never not have Diaghilev in my collection. It is exquisite. And let me know in the comments, do you agree? Are they fragrance twins, or are they cousins, or, you know, just kind of in the same neighborhood? Let me know what you think. All right, next. No surprise with this one. I'm sure those of you who are niche and indie fragrance freaks, luxury designer, you know this one. It's the old story. I'll just save you the trouble. We got the Audacity and Babycat. Yeah. They are absolutely similar. Let me just save you the sweat. Oh, the Audacity by Penhaligon's and Babycat by YSL. How did this happen? If you've heard this story before, apologies. One was a gift, one I bought for myself. And because I treasure the giver and the gift, the nature of the gift, I do not get rid of gifts. I will wear them both joyfully. The one I bought was the Audacity because at the time I was intrigued by the concept. You know, this vanilla, leather, peppery gorgeousness. Everyone wanted it. But the way I am, I don't like to follow trends. It's just not me. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. It's just not what I'm inclined to do. I feel like if something is trending, it's fine to know about it. It's interesting, but that is the last thing I'm going to buy. I don't want to wear what everyone else is wearing. I don't want to buy what everyone else is buying. I don't know. Maybe it's just a Gen X thing. I don't know. But when Babycat was all the rage, I sat back and I listened and I watched and I was intrigued, and then I heard about how difficult it was to get. So I went with the Audacity because I heard it was similar. It would scratch the itch. My wonderful husband decided to buy me a gift, and he knew that Babycat was on my wish list because, I didn't mind getting it months, if not years, out in the distance. Well, he was able to get a bottle, and he did. So now I have both, and they'll both stay in my collection. These are, by far, of all the fragrance pairs I'll talk about this evening, the closest. So let's start with the Audacity because I got it first. This is Penhaligon's, as I said. It's a 2023 release. It's 100 ml. It's an EDP and it goes for about $295. The notes are black pepper, elemi, orange blossom, frankincense, saffron, rose, vanilla, leather, and ambergris. For Babycat, we have an EDP. This is 125 ml. It goes for $490, and it's a 2022 release. So note the difference. One came first, then came the other. This, by the way, is a Dominique Ropion fragrance. So you know it's good. So this is black pepper, elemi, similar to the Audacity, pink pepper, olibanum, saffron, bourbon, vanilla, suede, and leather. I'm sorry, and cedar. So similar notes in these two fragrances for sure. I had my little girl test me not too long ago to see if I could tell the difference, and I can. Do I think your average person who doesn't spend a lot of time smelling fragrances could? I'm not so sure. They are awfully close. Does the Audacity scratch the itch if you don't want to spend $500 practically? Yup. There, I said it. Yeah. So when I put them close together, there is no question that there's a difference for me. The Audacity is more vanilla, more sweet. Babycat is more black pepper, a little bit more masculine leaning. They're both unisex, but Babycat's a little more masculine. which is funny because the Audacity has suede, which to me is a lighter leather note than leather itself. And Babycat has the suede, but the expression of the suede in Babycat is so nice. It's really beautiful. But they're gorgeous fragrances, both of them. Do I think I would have purchased both? Absolutely not. They are too close to me. My perception is they're too close, but I'd love to hear from all of you because it's amazing how differently we can perceive fragrances. But yes, these are very, very close. I keep them for sentimental reasons, and I love them both. They're fantastic. I think, once again, Babycat leans a little more masculine than the Audacity, which is just a little more vanillic. Yeah, beautiful stuff. All right, moving on. You asked, I'm answering. Now, I already answered you in the comments, and you know who you are. The only reason I'm not saying names is because you haven't given me permission to do so, and I'm a paranoid lawyer, as all good lawyers are. All right, here you go. Nude by Guerlain up against Bouquet Idéale from the Xerjoff Casamarati line. Oh yes. So this was one I had not heard, and I'm so glad you asked me about it. And I answered you today, but I was so intrigued by the question, I absolutely had to dive into it in this video. In fact, you and another good friend who regularly comments and who are both subscribers, you inspire me all the time, but this one was especially for the two of you, and this is one of you in response to your question. So the question is, of course, is one the fragrance twin of the other? My answer was no. I see where you're coming from. I absolutely do. But I do not think they are the same. I let the dry down really drive my answers here. So for Oud Nude, I get a very similar experience in the opening to Bouquet Idéale, but the dry down, the heart is very different. But as we get to the base, there's more of a similarity. For me, not similar enough to keep them, to not have both in my collection, okay? So let's start out with Oud Nude. This is a 100 ml EDP. This is a 2022 release, and it goes for $445. The nose behind this is Delphine Jalk, and of course, I think I said it's Guerlain. If you don't know, it's Guerlain. This is Oud, raspberry, almond, vanilla, sandalwood, rose, and cedar. I get a leather or a suede in this. It's a very warm skin Western oud. Okay, there's no barnyard here. Not now, not in the heart, not in the dry down, no way. Very pleasing. The raspberry is beautifully complemented by the almond, almost Christmas pastry-like, or holiday pastry, whatever your faith or no faith at all, you get where I'm going. It's a pastry for the cooler months. You know, complemented, of course, by the vanilla. It's not a gourmand, but there's that underlying comforting, I think, thing that we get from a warm, fruit-based, almond-scented pastry in the cooler months. That's there, along with the Western oud and sandalwood, giving it the feel of skin. and very pleasantly so. Gorgeous stuff. I absolutely adore it. Bouquet Ideale. So this one is 100 ml. It's an EDP. It goes for $305, and it's a 2010 release. Wow. And the nose behind this is Jacques Flory. It's cinnamon, nutmeg, kayak wood, sandalwood, cedar, papyrus, vanilla, coumarin, tobacco blossom, labdanum, and musk. This is more floral to me. Absolutely, 100%. There's a, and you don't get a lot of floral, right, in the note breakdown. The tobacco blossom, I love tobacco. I love tobacco flower. I don't know the difference between tobacco blossom and tobacco flower, if there is a difference. If there isn't, you know, I can't tell, but I can sense it in here. That tobacco flower, I'll just call it, very satisfying. It reminds me of a vacation I once took in the Caribbean, and it was wonderful. I wore a tobacco flower, a very linear tobacco flower fragrance, and so I wore it for about a week while I was there, and it was just, it's cemented in my brain, and this definitely has it, and it's prominent. It's offset by subtle spices, but to me, that is very different from what I'm experiencing with Oud Nude. The notes are not the same. The theme is not the same. At the same time, I cannot deny that they are in the same neighborhood. Why, I can't say. I'm looking at, I suppose, the cedar in both of them, but I don't get a prominent cedar from either of them. I can't explain it, but it is, I get it. I get the similarity. What I can tell you is they are close, but to me, they justify having both in my collection. This is more of a warm weather floral. This is more anytime, easy reach. You can't go wrong, whether it's, work or a formal occasion. Yeah. I mean, I suppose you could say the same for this, but that isn't what is front of mind for me. This is a little more of an experience type fragrance. This is something I'd reach for on more of an occasion than I would this, which I'd reach for to go to the gym or to go to church or to, go to a wedding. This works all the time. This feels more formal, not formal, more of an occasion. So there you go. This is more floral. This is more leather. I know it's supposed to be oud, but I get more of a leather feel from it. More of that, background kind of pastry, making it cozy, but it's not a gourmand. This is spicier and very floral forward for me. And those are the differences. And I do think having both in my collection is justified. There you go. Okay. Next, from a subscriber. You know who you are. You're amazing. And you always inspire me. And I'd love to say who you are, but you didn't give me permission, so I won't. The question was Mariner's Rhyme versus Marin. Let's get these in focus. It's impossible. There we go. This is Francesca Bianchi, and this is from Heeley, James Heeley. All right. So I think the idea is these are both, aquatics, they're both oceanic, and the theme is the same for sure. You know, the mariner is the sailor, and Marin is the water upon which the mariner sails, right? So I get it. I get it. But to me, they are very, very distinct. I will start with Marin. I think I love this fragrance. This is as personal and carnal to me as this Salome, in a different way, right? There, I wouldn't say this has a sexiness to it. This has a closeness, a maybe carnal isn't the right word I'm thinking of. It's got a I'm looking at how I described the other two. Gosh, what's the word? It's private, it's sensual in the literal sense of the word sensual. Okay, so Marin, this is, by the way, an EDP. It's $195 for 100 ml, and it's a 2008 release. The notes in this are lemon, bergamot, green notes, sea, water, salt, green, seagrass, moss, cedar, musk, and leather. But this fragrance is a very photorealistic ocean experience. This is special. This is really special. It's special to me, and I think it's special in general. Yeah. People I've heard describe this as fishy. I do not smell a fish in this, no way. But the sea is alive. The ocean is full of living creatures, and that life force is here. You can taste it. The opening, the lemon opening, it's a citrus opening, but it's lemon. The bergamot is subdued. I think it gives it just a little bit more formality, a little more class than the humble lemon alone, which I don't agree with, but in this case, I get it. The seawater, wow, did they knock it out of the park. Oh my gosh. Salt, moss, cedar, musk, leather, whatever. Maybe, sure. I don't know. That's not what I'm getting. Ocean, air, ocean, water. You've been on the beach all day, you've been swimming a lot, and you have not been good about reapplying your sunscreen. And so when you come out, you smell like that water. And the ocean dries on your skin. And it leaves the salt residue. And you quench your thirst from the hot sun with lemon water. And maybe you drink too fast and some of it drips down. And it's on your skin. And your skin is, you know, salted from the seawater and maybe just the slightest hint of perspiration from the heat of the sun. And that's it right there. If someone were to lean in and smell you where that lemon water ran down your neck, that's it. And it is damn sexy. It's amazing. And that's what this is. Sea creatures, no way. I don't know where. I mean, I think it's just a figment of people's imaginations. I respect all opinions, don't get me wrong. There's no fish in this for me, no way. This is human, ocean, and the two coming together. This is it. Very carnal, very beautiful, very basic, very, very sexy Marin. You can see I get a little emotional about this stuff. Mariner's Rhyme. I love Mariner's Rhyme. I've got Mariner's Rhyme in my collection, see? So this is Francesca Bianchi. This is an X-Trade. It's 30 mil. It goes for about $180, and it's a 2024 release. So this is a completely different experience for me. The bergamot is right in your face, and the juiciness of the grapefruit adds to the citrus punch right in the face. The other notes are ozone, lavender, elemi, orange flower, iris, ambergris, oak moss, musk, patchouli, and incense. Oak moss, yes. Ambergris, yes. Incense, maybe? To me, I get a leather, a dry leather meets the wet bitterness of the citruses up front. That formal, serious bergamot, it almost crosses into an Earl Grey tea bergamot. Not quite, but it's headed in that direction. And then it's made even more audacious by the, sorry, I have like a dog hair on my face. I love my dogs. Anyway, it gets that grapefruit in there too. This gives me more of a masculine feel. This is completely unisex. This is unisex, leans a little masculine. And what I said in the comment to the question you asked me is if I had to come up with a simile to compare the two, or similes to compare the two. This is a person on the beach. This is a person on a schooner. Very different, both oceanic, but very different. Both, by the way, are in the Atlantic Ocean, just so you know. I do think there's a difference between the Pacific and the Atlantic. I'd even go so far as to say the Gulf is distinguishable. The salt I get in this is Atlantic. The feel I get from this is Atlantic. There you go. This is cooler weather. This is warmer weather. I think they're different enough to have both in my collection, but excellent question. I love it. Just like the one about Oud Nude and Bouquet Idéale. These are fantastic. And by the way, if you have any more questions like this, do not hesitate to hit me up. Okay, the last in the lineup. I know I went a little bit long tonight, but I just really love these questions that came in. Going to be the classic question of Another 13 by Labo versus, can you guess? Sonic Flower by Room 1015. You know it. So let's start with Labo's Another 13. This is 100 mil. It goes for $348. Come on, you guys. What are you doing? EDP 2010 release. It's Natalie Lorson. The notes in this are pear, apple, citrus, ambrette, and lots of chemicals. Hear me out on this. Amyl salicylate. Come on, that wasn't easy to do. Give me some props for that one. Moss, jasmine, isoe super, cetalox, helvetalide, ambrettalide. Ambrettalide. Okay, so I messed up the last one, but these are hard. Come on. All right. And this to me, it's just lovely. It's beautiful, easy reach, anytime. You smell clean, you smell fresh, you smell bright and ready to take on the day. It's got a youthful feel to it, but not one that someone my age, 53, can't wear. It's one I could share with my girl, but she only wears, what does she wear? She wears Lost Cherry and only Lost Cherry these days. Can't figure that kid out. But if she would open her mind, she'd love this. versus Sonic Flower. Sonic Flower is 100 ml. It's an EDP. It goes for $200 and it's a 2022 release. So this is Jérôme Epinay. You know you're going to love it. It's pink pepper, carrot seeds, orris jasmine, ambroxan, cashmeran, and musks. Lovely, lovely. The pink pepper in this makes it distinctive for me, big time distinctive. And I got this one first. And then I smelled another 13, tested it for a while, and discovered I think they're really different. I think they're different enough to have both in my collection. I love Sonic Flower. I love carrot seed. I love the orris. I love the pink pepper, and that paints a very different picture for me. Maybe something cooler weather leaning than another 13, which seems really non-committal to me in terms of seasonal wear, but I would say warmer weather for that one. But I don't find myself saying, oh, you know, which one do I want, you know, to wear today, this one or this one? I know when I want this one. I know when I want this one. And I just, for me, same neighborhood, you know, again, sure. Same family, maybe, but they're cousins. They're definitely not fragrance twins. And in case I forgot to mention, these are same city. That's as far as I'd go. I think these are really distinct. So, oh God, these are all so good. Don't you love these? My gosh. Over the moon tonight. So let me know, what did you think about my comparisons? I think, you know, again, keep in mind that Babycat, no, the Audacity came the closest. The others, if I had to rank them, I would say, I guess next, these two, but it's, you know, they're not identical to me. Next, these two, again, not identical. Then I'd go for these two. Then I'd go for these two. And then the least related, these two. That's my take. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. And hey, if you aren't yet a subscriber to the channel, please consider becoming one. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. And oh, I got some feedback about needing a microphone that's more appropriate. I intend to get one. If you have a favorite, for those of you who are content creators, fellow content creators, let me know in the comments, because I don't know where to start. I figured with this iPhone, everything would be okay, but I got some feedback from someone I trust that it's not. So let me know in the comments. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.